everyone, it's Godzilla Gamer 77, and today we're going to look at the NECA 1985 figure. Now, without further ado, let's get into this review because I have quite a bit to talk about. Okay, so a little history about this figure. This figure was released about 2 years ago, I think, and originally came out with a prototype that did not look that great. So people complained about it, and the NECA redid the figure, and this is what we have now. And people are pretty satisfied how this turned out, but I want to hear what my opinions are, so without further ado, let's start. Alright, so starting with off the sculpt, I think the sculpt of this figure looks really nice. So starting off with the head, you can see some really nice detail on especially the top of the head with the smaller spines, and some of the paint looks a little sloppy on there, but I think the paint overall looks good. I think the eyebrows, they did a really good job with the eyebrows. I think it really looks menacing. If you get in that perfect angle, you can give him that really angry, pissed off look that he normally has. The eyes, if you look at it from an angle like this, it looks good. But if you make him look dead center, he has that derpy eye look. And even in the film, it doesn't look good. But I can live with it because it's how it looked in the film, but it still should have been addressed, and I don't think it looks that great from the front like this. He just sort of like, but other than that, yeah, I can deal with it. The ears are pretty prominent. They did a pretty good job distinguishing it from the skin. It's very noticeable when you get it in the right angle. And coming down to the top of the mouth right here, I have a problem with it because it's like really, really puffy. I don't know why. It looks like he got stung by a bee and his jaw just sort of got puffed up here. But, yeah, it doesn't really look that good to me, and it definitely lacks a little bit of detail here. Coming down to the bottom of the mouth, you can see the teeth. I think the teeth are very good. You open up the jaw, you can see, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see some of that good detail in the tongue. Coming down the neck, you can see some of the same finer details. You can see some bagginess, which I really like, trying to mimic the suit. And showing all those little individual scales going on there. Coming down to the chest, you can see some more finer details, especially you can see in that scaly thing that they're going on, especially in the chest. It looks kind of muscular, and I like that. Coming over the arms, the shoulder, you can see some of that bagginess. Again, I'm really liking that feeling. You can definitely see that one little fold there, and I love the fact that they did that. Coming down the arm, it's still coming down that same black charcoal gray paint, and coming down with some more scales. And the fingers are really kind of weird. I mean, they look fine, like the paint's on them is fine, but the sculpt is really weird. Like one finger here is like really short, like these are short, this one's long, and this one's fat. I don't really get it. Maybe NECA was high or sniffing some crack when they designed the hand, but I don't really like it too much. Coming down to the crotch, you still get some of that more good scaling detail on there, but then you come down to the crotch area and it's like it sticks out like a sore thumb. Like, I don't even know what the heck the design was in that, but it still doesn't look that good. Coming down to the knee or the leg, my bad, you can still see some of that bagginess of the leg, and I think that they did a really good job with that. And down to the knee, it's still fine. It's just I don't know. Like the knee right here is like lacking some detail, but coming down here they have another fold, and I really like that. And now we come to the feet. Now the feet are something that I don't believe. So like, you see here, like all the, unlike the hand, the sculpt's fine, but this middle toe looks so weird. I don't understand. The same goes for the second foot too. I don't get it. It's more noticeable on this one, but I don't know what the heck they were going with on that, but I don't know. It's just weird. But, yeah. And coming down to the back of the spines, some of the spines are a little lacking in detail, like especially this first one here. But I think they're okay. I do wish they were bigger, but, yeah, I think the spines are mostly good for the most part, even though they're just, rubbery material. And, now coming down to the tail, you still get some of that good detail on there, but the scales here are really not looking good. They just basically scattered paint on it and just called it a day. But overall, the sculpt and detail and paint apps on this figure are pretty solid. Alright, now for the articulation. And this figure's pretty good with articulation. Starting with the head, we can look up. We can look up about that much. We can look down about that much. You can turn it about that and that. This is just the head alone. With the neck, you can make him look this far down. You can look him pretty high up. You can turn his head this way, turn that way. You can also turn a full 360 if you want, but I'm not really going to do that. And coming down to the chest, he can look about this far down, this high up. In the arm, it can go about this high out. He's got a bend here in the arm. It's a little hard to do because the joint's kind of stiff on mine. Yeah, there we go. But overall, it's not bad. The hand, we can turn it in this much. It's got a swivel, and that's the arms. Coming down the legs, we can make his leg turn out this far out. I think, no, you can't do a full 360, but you can make him go about that far. Make him do a weird Bruce Lee drop kick if you want to. Coming down to the bottom part of the half, this one side will not swivel, but yet this side will. I don't really get that. I just guess it might be the stiffness of the joint, and I've tried loosening up, but I cannot move that at all. And coming down on the foot, we can swivel it here, and we can also move it up and down just slightly. And coming down on the tail, you can go right here. These individual pieces right here, you can make his tail do a nice forward motion. And coming down to the back here, the rest of the tail from this point on is a bendy wire. And the bendy wire isn't too bad. It's just, you have to move it around and I don't move it too much because I don't want the wire to break. But yeah, that's the articulation. I think the articulation on this figure is pretty solid. So those are my thoughts on the NECA 1984 figure. And overall, it's a solid figure. While it definitely lacks in some detail and some paint apps, I think it's overall a solid figure. The articulation was I actually enjoyed the articulation, and you can get him in some really cool poses if you mess around with him enough. But even though the price for this thing, if you really want to get it, it might be a little expensive now because this thing's like over 2 years old. But if you find him at Toys R Us, you might find it for like 30 bucks, and I think he's worth at least 30 bucks. But with that being said, if you like this video, please leave a like and comment. And if you want to see more videos like this, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys whenever I make a next video.